everybody, to the Michael Myers Show. Today we're going to be discussing The Burning from 1981. Tom Savini does it again. Everyone, welcome Jordana. Jordana, say hello from the Pretty Killers podcast.
Buddy. Hello,
And remember,
hello.
they
I'm so
can't
happy to
see
be
you.
here. I know. I was about to wave. You saw that. I like cameras
Um,
though because it's easier like for us to converse. I feel like it's so much harder when it's just like audio when you're recording just like without the camera.
right, because there's so many things that the audience is missing when you're just looking at them. This
Hmm.
is even kind of weird for me because we're recording it in a different way this time,
Yes.
and I need my sunglasses back because it's hard to look at you and the camera at the same time. Do you ever feel that way?
I do. You know what's even more weird that no one can see is that usually like I have my ambiance going on with my lighting and I'm like au naturel and it's really making me feel like a worm. I don't like it.
That's funny. Ah, all right, we're here to talk about The Burning. Um,
Yes.
this was a movie that was kind of on my list for a long time. It's one of those ones that everyone loves, and they compare it to these other films, and I just never got a chance to watch it. So right now I'm on kind of this tour of movies that I missed that other people loved. So I reached out to
Hmm.
Jordana to find out what are some movies that I missed that she loves, and she said The Burning, and I was like, absolutely, let's do The Burning. So
Yes. Love
tell us
it.
a little bit about why you picked it.
I think it is such a hidden 80s gem. And it really doesn't get talked about because I feel like it's overshadowed by every camp themed horror movie, Friday the 13th, Sleepaway
It's like
Camp.
number
Like,
three, right?
yeah. What?
I'm
On
not
my
saying it
list?
deserves to be number three, but I'm saying when we talk camp slashers, isn't it like right after Sleepaway Camp, which is right
Yeah,
after Friday the 13th? So it's not that
exactly.
hidden, right?
No, it's
It
not
could be
like super hidden.
underappreciated though.
Underappreciated for sure because I feel like everyone just kind of like when they think of a summer camp horror movie, they think of Friday the 13th. And to me, this one was way more entertaining and I actually love Cropsy as a villain.
You love Cropsy.
Hmm.
Okay, okay,
I do.
okay. All right.
Yes.
I'll tell you that spoiler alert, like I gave it all the stars. I didn't give it a star for theme. It's a slasher. There usually isn't one other than, revenge. Like don't be a bad person. Bad things happen.
Yeah. Karma.
Karma, pretty
Hmm.
common. Um, but for the rest of it, I gave it full stars. So why don't you give us a little bit of the beginning, the concept? What's the meat and potatoes? What's it about?
So it's pretty much like it's a campfire story. It starts off, you know what I mean, like in this scene where there's boys and they don't really like the groundskeeper and they want to pull a prank. We know how
Hmm.
pranks go in horror movies. Horribly wrong.
They always go according to plan. No one gets
Yes.
hurt. There are no fatalities. There's no revenges ever. It's always
No,
perfect.
it's always how they see it in their mind. And I think that the burning skull with the worms is so iconic. I love that shot. Um I just love how ridiculous it was that there was like four dudes staring at this drunk bastard that they hated so much, and then they prank him, and then and then he catches on fire, and he dives into the water, and he has all these like horrible burns. You know,
And then they
it's
move
pretty
on with their
cliche.
lives.
Yeah, and they're fine with it. They're just like crap. He got what was coming to him,
It's like,
and
holy
I'll see you
shit.
next year.
You know,
Could you do that rightfully to some like a prank is a prank, but like seeing someone catch on fire, wouldn't you like kind of instinctively try to throw some water on him or help a brother out? I don't know. Like it's weird.
yeah, I don't know. They made him to be such a bastard.
Yeah.
You know, this movie kind of reminded me of Friday the 13th, obviously,
Hmm.
meets like the remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street. They're like, oh, what's the
Okay.
groundskeeper? Oh, this, oh, that. Like the same thing, who gets burned, you know?
Yep.
And
Yep.
then, and then the other thing is just Jallo. Very black glove,
Yes.
like, black leather gloves in the
Hmm.
beginning. We'll talk about that. But no, I couldn't
Love
let
it.
somebody burn to death. It
And
was
they're
like,
just
what kind of
standing there
prank is
like,
this? Um,
I know.
but I will say right from the beginning, it kind of catches your attention. They're not wasting any
Mhm.
time messing around. at all.
Mm-mm.
Um, I think that I would love to redo this movie. I would love to remake this film, and I would change a lot of things about it. But the origin of Cropsy would not be one of them.
Okay. So
You
you,
know,
but yeah, but that's cool. Give them a different story and kind of like you can either dumb it down or you could like totally dial it up and make him like this horrifically nasty person. You could do anything with it, honestly, now.
yeah, you could either do it where it's like a prequel and it ends with that, or you can do it where just there's a little like I want a little bit more to Cropsy. That's the thing that we didn't get in this, and that's where people lose Cropsy along the way. Is like I think his origin is great. I
Yep.
think the kills are great. The only thing we're missing is like his voice in all of this. We don't see his personality at all. We hear about it, we don't see it. It's not a who done it, it's not a mystery. We know exactly who's coming for you. We know why they're coming for you. We just kind of missed more to like about him. Like
Yeah.
he's great in lore and legend. He's great in idea, but I'd like to see a little bit more of his style and why they hated him so much.
Yeah,
So you know who
exactly.
to root for. Just a little bit more. What do you think?
I feel the same way because you kind of feel torn in the beginning because like you said, you see them want to like, do this prank and be nasty that goes wrong, but like what led up to that? Like what happened? Like a flashback would have been nice of him like kicking a kid or like, you know, peeing in someone's bunk bed. I don't know, but like give us something to warrant what happened.
Yeah.
But then there's a part of me that kind of likes
Okay.
the
The Mystique.
unknown. Yeah, about it.
I think they
You're
could
right.
have maybe instead of giving us a story and telling us what he did, because they kind of mentioned a couple things, right? They mentioned, oh, he beat up somebody or whatever. I'm trying to figure out how they let this person work here, but that's beyond me. It's the '80s. It's probably fine.
I know. Anything is a go back then.
Um, but maybe what they missed was a um, what is it with Anthony Hopkins? Silence of the Lambs. That kind of
Mm,
introduction, where it's like,
yes.
hey, we're gonna go by Crosby or Crosby or whatever, and Cropsy, and just a little bit more of a build up to how scary he was. Not that he was a bastard, but maybe like that he was scary in the first place. Like
Yes.
maybe they're daring each other to go down there and see what's going on, or you just kind of building his lore up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like maybe they're, like I said, maybe it's kind of like that's his area. You don't go down there. Something bad will happen to you, but then they play this prank on him anyways. And maybe it's not that he's mean spirited, but maybe that he was just spooky, and he was kind of
Yeah.
like a legend in the camp, and they built him up to be this thing that he's not, and then maybe he's misunderstood, and they burn him anyways on accident. It's just like a
Yep.
prank instead of
Yep.
him just being a bastard. Because that's kind of I don't know, kind of not as fun.
No, and it kind of reminds me of it's like totally different seasons and genres, but it kind of reminds me of the um the salt dude from Home Alone. You know how like he put the bodies in the salt and like
Yeah,
they had a really awesome like storyline just in that little 2-second clip of Home Alone. So like how they talk about he was always drunk and if you he would peel the paint off the wall if you breathed on it.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Imagine imagine having like a backstory like he was a town drunk, he hit someone like a hit and run
Hmm.
and he killed like a family so then that like
Sure.
made him spooky and then he's at camp because he wants to be away from everyone and then we kind of get that story.
Yeah, like the first 15 minutes, the first act really could
Mhm.
have been just this build up of Cropsy a little bit more.
Yes, because I find I don't know if you
Because he doesn't
found
get a
it but
voice. So you got to speak for him beforehand. Make him spooky,
yes and
make
I
him cool.
build that up because like you said throughout the movie like I love the scenes and how they get into the kills but I felt like there was a period in time where it was so summer camp that it
Hmm.
it really didn't it made it feel more summer campy but it left you could have taken all that out and you could have built a story for Cropsy. That's my complaint with this one is there was a lot of time spent on like fun activities and you get the sense of
Yeah, they had good B-roll. They had a lot of atmosphere
mhm,
and building up the camp. They did a
yes,
great job on laying the setting down for us.
yes,
But they could have used 25% less setting, building, and world building, and 20% more Cropsy.
Absolutely. That's where I think that the tweaking would be better
Yeah.
for like a remake now. But on the other hand, too, I can appreciate that because I felt more camaraderie with these guys and I felt more sympathy for them than I would in the assholes in Sleepaway Camp that deserve to die. You know what I mean? And like the kids in Friday the
Um,
13th.
yeah, I was comparing to Friday the 13th, and when it comes to characters, I don't know any of their names. Not
I don't
really.
either.
I know, but this one had some characters to them. I don't think they were 100% fleshed out. I can't remember their names, but if you said, like, we're gonna go through the characters in a second, a little bit here, the ones we remember, and we remember them. In Friday the
Yeah.
13th, I couldn't tell you.
Kevin Bacon. I know Kevin Bacon was in
Yeah,
it, but I
but
don't
because he came
remember
Kevin Bacon, right?
exactly. But see, here's my thing. I don't like Friday the 13th. I think Friday the 13th is the weakest. I know, I'm dropping bombs already. The weakest in the franchise. The first one is not my fave. It's not even in my top three for Friday the 13th.
This is a little preview of Jordana when she joins us for Hills to Die On. Um, and
Yes.
I will agree. People have heard me say before that the best Friday the 13th movie is Freddy vs. Jason. You know, maybe that one
Mm.
or the remake, followed by
You know what's
Jason
my
X.
favorite?
I don't like the first one. Not
Guess
a
what my favorite one
fan.
is?
Hmm?
Guess what my favorite one is?
Oh, I think you told me this. I think you told me that it was Manhattan.
Yes. I love
And
it.
that's a fine pick.
Thank
It's
you.
definitely top half, I'd say, for me.
Right.
I think we talked a lot about that one before.
We did. And I agree with you though. I think Freddy versus Jason is such a great installment in there because we get the best of both worlds.
Hmm.
But also the remake was so goddamn
It was
good.
good.
Oh, I love it.
Again, another thing we talked about forever.
I
um,
know.
what were we talking about? Oh yeah, more Cropsy, less everyone in the characters. With this one, like I can tell you who I was talking about, you would know. So you've got
Mhm.
Cropsy, you've got the camp counselor that was a student or a what do you call it? An attendee of the camp before that
Yeah.
burned him down.
Camper.
A camper that burned him alive, so he's now a counselor there. He like runs it, I guess. They don't go into it. Does enough for me.
Yep.
You've got kind of the dickhead bully kid. You've got the weirdo boy. You've got
Hmm.
Jason Alexander. You got George Can't Stand Ya as
I
the
know.
coolest one.
I know. I love him in this one.
And he's kind of like, he's the guy that can get you things. And he kind of sticks up for the other kids a little bit. Like he's the cool one, but he kind of sticks up.
Yep.
And the only thing I think that I had an issue with this story with these characters is it didn't give us a main character enough. They gave us the weird kid a little bit more for some reason, and I did
Yeah.
not pick up on what they were trying to do with that. Did you?
No, and I felt it was weird that we didn't have a final girl. Like there's because there really wasn't like a centered for me. It didn't.
It
It
was
seemed like
him.
it bounced.
It was weird.
Yeah, and it was just yes, and it was like to him for to be the focal point and like be strictly wanting to scare someone, and then he's labeled as like a perv.
He was
You
a
know what
little
I mean?
weird,
Like, yeah, he was a little weird,
but I
but
don't know why what that did for the story.
I don't either. Maybe they were trying to like change the formula of I don't know.
In 1981,
Maybe.
changing the formula.
Yeah, we got to rewrite this.
Yeah, I don't know. And then the girls in this, there was a little bit to them, I guess. It was mostly about boys trying to have their way with girls at summer camp, which is pretty normal.
Exactly, and you see that a
Boys were a little
lot. Like
pushy though.
they were, and then that one scene when they went skinny dipping, and she like didn't want to kiss him, and he like
Mhm.
fucking bitch slapped her. I was like, holy shit.
Get the fuck away from me. Then why'd you come out here for?
Yes. If that was me, I would have drowned his fucking ass and made sure like a fish bit his dick off.
See,
Like,
I
ain't
think
nobody slapping me.
that they would have done this like the way I would do it is a little differently with these characters. Is well, I guess you don't know why they're missing, but the boys should
Yeah,
be the ones going missing. And you should think that the girls are killing them because these boys are pieces of shit. Because if he
yes.
would have disappeared that night and she would have come back and been like, "Oh, I don't know what happened," it'd
Hmm.
have been like, and all we got to see was him being a jerk, and we didn't know Cropsy was out there. That would have been interesting a little bit.
Exactly. Yes, I agree. Totally agree with that.
Um, yeah, the girls were doing their best to play hard to get.
The girls, I love the scene where they're on the raft
Hmm.
and the boy that the weird one that couldn't swim gets pushed in by
Hmm. Yeah, that was
Glazer or
his
whatever
name,
his name is.
Glacier. Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting
And
name.
he's like the epitome of like a meathead and I loved it because he fit the bill so perfectly. And I actually like am
Yeah,
happy
he
that
was like even a
he's
little sensitive at times when he wasn't being a
yes.
jerk.
Yes. But when he got shot in the ass, but when he gets up to the girls on the float and he's like, "Oh, ladies are so pretty. You look like a bunch of mermaids." And then they all start laughing at him. I was like, "Oh my god."
It was realistic summer camp stuff.
Hmm.
And again, that's one thing that not to compare it to Friday the 13th because I don't want our review now to be about Friday the 13th, but that's just always the comparison. In
Yes.
that movie, I didn't give a shit about those kids.
I didn't either kill them all.
They're
Don't
all
give a
gonna
shit.
die. Okay, cool. You
Sure.
know,
Yeah.
and they even gave the. I just thought everyone was so realistic. You
Yes. And
know,
I relatable.
relatable, and even the camp counselor that was from before.
Hmm.
Um, he's with these kids, and at the end, when things start getting spooky, the weird kid wakes him up. He's like, Glacier's dead.
Yeah.
And he's just irritated. He's like, this better not be a fucking prank. Like, first of all, it's funny coming from him, you know,
Right.
but
Yes.
also like, because it's something he would do, right? Would have got to be in charge
Mhm.
here, and he's just so irritated. Like that would be me. You know what I mean? Like, don't wake me up in the middle of the night for
Okay.
bullshit.
Yes, I would be irritated too, but in the same token, my ass would be like, "Is my karma coming back?" Because like I played a nasty prank, and now people are disappearing. You think he would put two and two together to be like, "Shit, did Cropsy come back?"
Yeah, I think he could have been a little more. That's the difference between a final boy and a final girl. Wince Prince and a final girl, a Scream Queen, is because I feel like the girl, if we're finding a woman, she
Hmm.
would have been aware that Karopsky just like got out of the hospital. She would have been aware
Yeah.
of it, and because he's a man, he's like oblivious to some shit he did a long time ago. Boys will be
Hmm.
boys, and then like it got him. Well, it didn't get him in the end. Spoiler alert:
No,
he was fine.
I know.
Congratulations, he
I
got away with it again.
I
He
know.
burned him
But
twice.
double burn. But literally, one thing I appreciate is the ending, and I know we'll get there, but I seriously love how they wrapped things up with this movie. I think that kind of we'll get to it.
Yeah, so those are our characters, and Cropsy is basically Freddy Krueger for real.
Hmm.
Except for the kids burned him down this time, and
Yeah.
he was one stitch away from being as awful as Freddy Krueger, which was a better place to be.
Yes, and you know what? Now that we're talking about this, and I'm like trying to sync things up, we literally got like a Freddy versus Jason in '81 because we have like the settings of Friday the 13th, and then we have the character of Ish of Freddy Krueger.
Yeah,
So it's like a crapsy origin of what was to come in 2000 and what, four,
yeah, it
5.
was pretty. I wonder if Les Crazy Head saw this and forgot
I know.
about the burn victim. And maybe he
It's
thought
crazy.
like do that, but let's add a supernatural element to it, which kicks it up a notch and give him a personality. Because it's kind of what they
Yeah.
did.
Hmm.
Like you said, storytelling. I think there's a lot of things that we would change, but
Yes.
the only reason we can change it is because they were so vague in the '80s, and without that, you wouldn't want to redo a movie. I feel like
Right.
because there's places you can go, it's worth redoing.
And you know what? I feel like it's kind of just like back then you didn't really need too much substance to make a movie.
It's a slasher through and through. You got the revenge. You know who did it.
Yep.
That's it.
That's all you really need.
Um, and that is why when we talk about this versus Friday the 13th, which is the comparison always, let's try to figure out which one I like better. And I think I like this movie better for characters, and I like it. It's got a pretty good origin.
Yeah.
But I like when Pamela Voorhees reaches the camp. I like Friday the 13th way more. I
I get
love
that.
what they did with that, and with this one, they weren't able to give us a twist. They weren't able to give us that like the cool like they
Yeah.
built up some stuff with that.
Hmm.
Now I probably give it too much credit because of what it became, which they had no idea at the time. Um, but I do really like the ending of Friday the 13th a lot, and what they kind of did with the elements of the story. And
Yes.
with this one, they didn't have enough that they didn't already tell us to give us. It was just, he's here. How do we kill him at the end?
Yeah. And it is kind of like, I don't want to say lackluster at the end, but like for me, so when I watched it, I thought of, like you said, Pam, the whole end with Pamela finding out that it's her, it's not Jason. Then you have Sleepaway
Hmm.
Camp, because I'll bring that one into the mix. And you have the reveal at the end, which was like so big and iconic. And then with this one, I kind of like what they did though with the storytelling at the end, because it
Okay.
makes you like kind of wonder, was that just like a story? Was that, and then we're
Yeah.
watching like the play out of someone's imagination. I kind of like how they did that, because maybe we didn't get like such a big twist or plot, whatever
Hmm.
plot change like Friday the 13th, but I think it's cool that they ended it that
It was
way.
very
Not,
cool.
you know what I'm saying? Like not like this ominous, like, oh, he lived, and then it's
Yeah,
like a
it's like
Michael Myers
a
type deal.
it's like the way telephone happens, the way like a campfire story happens. It gets
Mm,
bigger every time, and the details change. But it was,
yes.
not too far from here. A camp just like this one, da 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 da
Yep.
happened, and you tell it to the kids before they go to bed, and it's just kind of repeating the cycle a little bit.
Exactly. So I like that. I think it kind of gives that cheesy campness to it and kind of like solidifies it as one of those. So I can appreciate that ending, because I feel like if it would have ended with just a bland ending, and I know I'm saying that because some people are probably like, well, the ending was bland. Without that, I think it wouldn't be as high for me.
I agree. That was very fun.
Hmm.
And I know they didn't say this explicitly, but my head canon is the weird kid is the guy at the end, like
Yeah.
perpetuating the story.
Yes.
Um,
Hmm.
I really did like the ending in that regard. And
Yeah.
there wasn't a bad ending with this. There wasn't anything extra. They added it to the end there, I guess. Um, and again, this is a straightforward slasher, so anything we say isn't really that spoilery. There was no twist, which is
There was no
fine.
twist.
Which is fine. It was a slasher through and through. Like this is 81, and it was a by the book slasher, and it did it with a little bit um, of actual characters, which is goes a long way, especially in 81. And we
Oh
haven't
yeah.
even gotten to the special effects yet,
I
which was
know.
Tom Savini. He turned
I know.
down Friday the 13th Part 2 to do this. Is that Rosie?
No, it was my weather update at 6:15. It turns on
Okay.
every time at 6:15, and I don't know why, and it scared the shit out.
You asked one
Why?
time at 6:15. One time,
Every time I record with you, I get like a jolt that I have to like poop my pants. Oh, I hate it.
um, but yeah, because we're heading into like production value now a little bit, so we can talk about the special effects. What did you think about the special effects? Give us the whole everything. Tell us.
God, I love these kills in this movie. Like the float scene is iconic. Like
Oh,
to me, one of the best shots in horror, when he takes up his shears and then like just takes everyone out on the fucking
beautiful.
boat. It's so magical, and it's done so well.
I was a little
I love it.
surprised that that was not later in the film. I thought that was going to come later.
Right. That was like pretty, I don't want to say early on, but
It
it
was
was
like
pretty,
60%, 65% way through.
yeah,
I thought that was more of like an 80% of the way through. But I guess
yeah.
he had a lot of kids to kill because they weren't killing them off right away. They were able to have a story, which was good.
Hmm. I like that,
I could use a
because I
little bit
thought Woodstock,
more. Go ahead.
I thought Woodstock was gonna get it first. Remember when
Hmm.
he's in the cabin and Todd like walks in, he's like, "What are you doing?" I was expecting like the kills to start then, and then it like paused even longer, and I'm like, "Well, when are people gonna die?"
Yeah, I think because they waited so long to kill people, they could have gave us a
Mhm.
little bit more of Cropsy in the city.
Yes, yes, because that city kill is another chef's kiss. Like that
Yeah.
whole, I love it.
So Cropsy gets out of rehab after like 5 years of being covered in burns, and they show us a little bit of his arm in the beginning. A little bit of fun 80s
Yeah,
storytelling there. That scene was
love that.
great, where the one doctor is showing the new doctor, hey, check this out. And it's Cropsy's arm,
Look
he
at this
just
guy.
reaches out, and it's just covered in burns slash
Mhm.
leprosy, it looks like, but it was burns.
It's
Um,
gross.
it was gross, and it was great. And then Cropsy's like immediately building his life in the city, where he's just, it was so Jallo. He's got like a
Yes.
hat on and like maybe
Mhm.
some dark man garbs, and
Yep.
like a trench coat scenario and black leather gloves.
It's
And
perfect.
they're
I
like,
love it.
let's give another kill here. So we've got this call girl walking him up to the room, and I couldn't figure out like was she into him, but oh, it's a call girl, okay.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
he proceeds to choke the shit out of her and stab her with some scissors.
Yeah, like in the belly multiple times, and that blood splatter on the mirror. Oh, it's like the money shot. I loved it. It's
And
perfect.
the special effects in this movie, it's like in my mind they don't stand out, but when I think about it, it's because they were so good.
Yeah,
Like I couldn't really tell like what they were doing. It looked good. It looked real. Does that make sense?
it does. And this, I think we need to give props to the sound effects because the music and the screaming and like the because like it's dark in a lot of scenes, so you can't see too much, but you can hear like the jabs of the shears or the scissors or whatever he had, and I can appreciate that because it's another like up to your imagination type deal.
They did a great job with what to show and what not to show.
Hmm.
They definitely did a great job with that. Um, and most of the kills were straight up like shears to the face or the neck.
uh you know what my favorite one was?
What was it?
The Glacier hot dog dude when he goes back to get the girl after he came too fast, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, Sally," and then he gets like impaled with the shears in his throat
Oh,
to the tree, kind of like a I don't want to say it, but like a nod to Bob on the Wall from Halloween. I
hmm.
loved
That's what it
I
was.
love yeah,
Definitely.
I loved it.
Um, that's exactly what it felt like.
Yeah.
Um,
But like amped up camp style, which is great.
yeah, I love that whole scene with Glacier and his girl because, like I said, he comes like 5 minutes, and she's like, "Well,
You're giving
maybe
him
we'll hang out a
credit.
little
It's
bit."
like a
Right.
minute.
And he's like, maybe we'll hang out a little bit later. And she's like, maybe we'll hang out some more. He was like, you really mean that? And she's like, well, fuck, I got to get something out of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, go get some firewood.
Yeah.
And she looks up, and he's just like standing in front of her. And they did this on purpose. And he's got the shears there, and she's right between
Yes.
his legs looking up at him.
I
And I was
love
like,
it.
well, typical 80s, a little bit there.
Yeah,
But
totally.
what I did like about this is, like, he killed everyone, right? And at first, he was just killing all the girls, it felt like.
Yes. It did seem
And
like that.
it wasn't because they were put down, because they weren't. You know what I mean? Like
They weren't doing anything.
it wasn't a tale of you know if you drink or smoke or fuck or whatever you're gonna die. No, it was just
Hmm.
it kind of felt like Halloween in a way with the reason because he was trying to get to the camp counselor. I can't remember his name, and these other kids were
Todd.
just along for the ride.
Hmm. And it's like anyone that gets in his way. Sorry, you're a weed that I'm gonna pluck with my garden shears.
Yeah, and they could have
Hmm.
done this thing like you said the ending with the campfire story. They could have perpetuated this thing and maybe made it a little bit different every time.
Yeah.
Like the words would have been the same, kind of, but then you give us a different version of Cropsy. That would have been kind of cool to see like a couple
Yes. And
times.
because you like you said, it's like telephone and it changes every single time. And it's so cliche of summer camps, so they could have.
Right. Like maybe the next one gets the story wrong and he's not burned, but he's got like a flamethrower and he like burns it. Like they just change like a little bit, like they missed something in the story.
Yes. And I'm glad that you said flamethrower because I love the cat and mouse chasing at the end
Hmm.
and how he has his flamethrower. Because a flamethrower in a horror movie, I'm down in any regard. So we need more of that.
Yeah, all that did was remind me of how mad I was about Scream 5. We talk about the same movies being mad all the time.
Oh, the scene with the flamethrower?
Yeah,
Yes.
and then it wasn't really
Yeah.
even in the movie. It was a clip. I'm like, what the fuck, piece of shit?
Ugh. But honestly, I caused problems because I put down for Dewey Pod Monster, what scream would you get rid of? And I guess I chose violence that day because a lot of people were fired up.
I am behind you 100%. That is the bottom of the list. I
Yes.
thought people knew that.
I know, and I'm so happy
It's
that I
like
have like an
50-50.
ally in this. Do you know how happy I am that I have like a solid person that will stand next to me on that hill to say "fuck Scream 5"
Fuck
or
Scream
"Scream
5.
what? Fuck that piece of shit."
Yeah, and
The
then
Burning is not a piece of shit.
no, Burning's pretty good. and you talked about Halloween Kills. I was listening to you and Ian, what is it? Ian McGool?
E- Ian Van Gool.
Ian
Yes.
Van Gool. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Not Vincent Price. And you guys were talking about Kills, and you chose not to have violence. He was like, well, I try to find something good in all the movies, which we all do, obviously, you know. And he chose not to say anything negative. He loved that movie, and you were like,
Yes.
"Yep, mm-hmm." But I know how you feel.
I know, and I can't. You know me.
You were so good.
I can't shit on someone's like happiness because it's horrible. Because there's shitty movies that I love.
Yeah, right.
But I got blasted because I just put up my ranking and someone was like, I can't believe that you have Resurrection and Curse before Kills, and I'm like, what? Like, did we watch the same movie?
I think that Kills was. I don't know. Resurrections was really bad. It was really
But
bad.
it's so fun to watch. Like, and think of at the time,
It's way more
like,
fun to watch.
yes, and
It's just also not good. I don't know. I
know,
think.
but you know that I love not good movies, so of course it's going to be higher than what everyone regarded as a great movie in the Halloween franchise. Which
It was just too dark at the end. I was like, what is going on here? I don't know. I thought there was some problems, but the concept was a lot more fun than Kills.
yeah,
And it had a lot
exactly.
less, like, Kills was supposed to be good. This had value. This had production value. This had real people behind it. And Resurrection wasn't like that. It was a money grab, MTV
Mhm.
2005 style.
Oh yeah,
Like, comparatively, they shouldn't be able to be compared. But on my list, they'd be right next to each other.
I know, because it's usually like Resurrections at the bottom of the list, and I totally get it, but it's just like a sense of nostalgia for me, and it's a sense of like Curse came out at a time where I was younger, and I just love Curse,
I think,
and I don't know,
oh yeah, Curse. I don't know what the problem is with Curse. I've seen that many times.
people hate
There's
it.
issues with it,
Yeah,
but it's pretty
of
good.
course, I love
Um,
it.
yeah, I think I can go on more about this. We're not talking about Halloween. Our
I know.
yeah, I think Resurrection for you is like Jason Goes to Hell for me.
Yeah,
Like it's different,
it's
so it stands out. It's
and it's
not the
fun.
same thing
It's fun.
again. It's
Yeah,
fun.
and you don't have to take it so seriously. Like you said, it's kind of something different because I mean, how many we could get a ton of storylines in every single franchise the same, but when they switch it up, it's either divided. You hate it or you love it.
Right, and I'm always happy to see something a little bit different.
Me too.
We're gonna have to do another episode where we just air our
Of course we are.
grievances.
We
And
should just do a tangent one where we just like
yes,
say one word, one movie title, and then we just like go off, and then we follow it up with another movie title. Let's do that next time on my
we'll
show.
do that next time, and we'll have to make it a drinking game for the audience for every time we
Yeah.
bring up like the same 5 movies. If we talk about like Scream again, and if we talk about Friday the 13th again, and if we talk about
Yes.
the remake, and if we talk about Evil Dead Rise and how mad I
Yes.
was, and people will be hammered because we
Oh
can't
my,
avoid it.
that's such a brilliant idea. We need to do that like as a
Ugh.
summer like hangout.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wish you lived closer so we could do this for real.
I know. It makes me I don't even know where you are. You could be on Mars or Uranus for all I know.
I'm in Milwaukee area.
Oh, okay.
Um, but I think that episode would be 5 hours long and we'd be hammered the whole time.
Yes, we would. I eventually would love to just like link up and be able to
Mhm.
do something like that, like a live episode.
That would be great. You are Pennsylvania?
I'm in New York.
New York. You're all the way in New York.
I'm in New York. But I don't mind
Yeah.
traveling. I
It's not
love
that
going
far,
to new
really.
places. No, it's really
If
not.
you can
And
get out
so
of the city, like, right?
okay, Milwaukee is like where? I'm horrible with
It's south.
geography and like it's south. Okay.
It's south. It's like I'm 2 hours from Illinois, is where I'm from. Like an hour and a half
Okay.
from the border of Illinois.
Okay. I
Maybe
mean, like
maybe less.
I'm going to Kentucky. That's
Okay.
8 hours away. Like I can travel. I don't mind
Kentucky's good.
doing that. Yeah. I've never been. So
Okay. Again, that's for a tangent episode.
yes.
Back to the burning. Yeah. Special effects were great. Story was great. Characters were great. Again, I didn't find a theme other than, I don't know, because Cropsy didn't even get the guy that he came for.
I know. And that's weird too that I feel like there was the target and the target was not like super specified. And yeah, they kind of had like their out at the end, but like he died. Cropsy got killed, and Todd
He
lived.
burned him
So
though. Like, you know,
I know.
like if Cropsy would have got him, I'd have been like, justice for Cropsy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, I wanted him to kill him. I wanted to have that, and I wanted, but you know what? I can appreciate, even though I'm selfishly, I'm sad, but I'm happy that it didn't have a franchise run and get like completely ran into the
sure.
ground. Was that they actually like stopped it there? So it's a one and done, and I'm here for that.
Yeah. I was hearing that this is. I don't think that Miramax wanted to make horror movies, but this was like one of their first jump starters for cash. They're like, let's
Mhm.
do this Harvey Weinstein style and get it off the ground. And maybe that's why we got so many unnecessary shots that we had. I don't know for sure. I'm
I
like, how
know.
old are these girls? Should I even be watching this shit? I don't know.
You know what scene stood out to me the most, and it's not like me being
The
creepy because
eight
like I
minute shower scene.
the 8 minute shower scene, and listen, I love boobs in horror. Like I'm all about female
But
empowerment.
these girls were kind of
Ha-
young.
have your boobies out.
Your dogs are singing.
So mad right now. But um that shower scene was so creepy how they set up the shot like it was going to be something big, and then it was just her boobs. Her like pointy cone boobs, and I'm not like discriminating boobs,
It's
but
the
I
80s, I guess.
I'm
Don't
just
worry, at
going
least
to
there's visual. Do you want to go? Do you want to step out?
I'm just going to look out the window and see if someone's here.
All right.
I'm just going to hold on.
If you are still watching this, check it out. Let us know what you think about Cropsy and if he deserves more films. If you think you'd like to see a remake of this, let me know if you want to watch me and Jordana um, get wasted and chop it up without a movie to review. Just listen to that feedback. Wow. Um, I think she's back.
I'm sorry.
No problem. At least like with us, there's video. It's not just the audio. It's okay.
I know, but like, of course, when we record, this happens, and then Ross is like, "I'm like, Ross, call us. I can't. I'm on the toilet." I'm like, "Oh, go back downstairs, and let it bark."
It's fine.
Okay.
Um, what were we saying? Um,
The boobs and
yes,
how how much time was invested in boob shots, where it could have
entirely
just
too
been
much.
like a really good kill scene with the build up, but then it's just boobs.
You know, I just listened to women talk too much about movies and horror movies, and my perspective is just a little different now. Maybe that plus I'm a dad. I'm like, I don't need 8 minutes of this because now I'm
No,
thinking like the person recording this. Like, what are you doing? Like a shot's good. Boobs movies are great. I can't say not to do it, but there's a
right.
point where it goes from tasteful ish to weird
Trash. And especially given the circumstances as of now, like obviously,
with
and what has
Weinstein. Sure,
transpired. Yeah, exactly. So you're kind of just like,
I think it's about who you're viewing. So if the movie is like, there's a couple movies out there where it's just like these porn stars and they're like getting slashed up. So
yep,
like they have no problem with this. They're having fun off camera. Like if they're having fun off
yes,
camera, you can have fun when you watch it.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
I
And
do.
with this one, I don't know if that was really the vibe. I'm not saying it was super like weird, but it wasn't quite as fun as it, you know what I mean, to have that long of a scene.
It wasn't fun, and it seemed very pervish. Like I felt like looking away a couple times because I was like, I don't think this is necessary.
No, I
Um,
was looking at my phone during these scenes a lot of the time, and I'm like, is this over with yet?
and like the butt cheeks when she's swimming, like you can't see shit the whole time, but you can see like her full nudity in it. Like,
Yeah.
and you know, here's me though. I advocate for more frontal nudity of
Free the
males.
nipple.
I think free the nipple, but free the penis, free that mushroom tip. Like, let us see it.
You saw
We just see boobs all the
some
time.
rims in this. These guys
Yeah,
all pour their shorts down for Glacier, and I was like,
yeah.
that's 8 seconds of butthole I'll never not be able to see.
Hairy butthole, because Woodstock's butt cheeks you could almost see, and or like see up in it.
Yeah. You know, and as long as we talked about that shower scene, as long as it was. So if that felt like a long time to you folks, that's how long they were showing this girl just naked for no reason. And my buddy and I were talking about this today. Is in the beginning you've got Jason Alexander and you've got the like New York, New Jersey guy, whatever, and they're talking about this girl and how she's got A1 prime meat and da 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 da, and her ass is juicy. And I don't have a problem with that. That's how kids talk, or boys or men or whatever sometimes. But I'm sorry, was there no butts in the 80s? They couldn't get a girl with a butt to be this character. I'm sorry. I was like, what are you talking about? This is a cricket. No, no shame.
No. I feel for the less fortunate on the bottom half. I got plenty to go around if anyone needs any though, so just let me know.
Right. This girl, I'm like, if her legs rub together long enough, they could start the campfire. That's who they
Cropsy
chose.
would run.
That's who they chose for her big booty close up. Was the girl with no ass.
Horrible casting.
Horrible casting.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's the trailer. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, to wrap it up, so we got a great origin story for Cropsy.
Yep.
We've got a bunch of kids who you actually learn a little bit about. I wouldn't say that we care about them, but they were interesting enough to watch.
Yes, you felt that. It gave what it was giving.
Mm-hmm.
It did what it was supposed to do, and I can appreciate that.
It was very realistic characters.
Mm-hmm. It's relatable.
The kills were good. Lots of when Cropsy popped up in the raft for the raft scene, he chopped off those guys' fingers. He did this. He did that. It was pretty good, and that's all Tom Savini right there.
It is like, and it was so. The way that it flowed was so majestic. It was like he pops up, and then it's like the one girl gets it, and then Woodstock gets his fingers cut off, and then the one chick with Jason Alexander gets her forehead like slit open, and then one dude gets it in his neck, and it's just. It
was good.
You have to give credit on a kill scene that has multiple kills that flows so well, because that's a lot.
That was a lot of deaths at the same time. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how many takes do you get with something like that to get it to land the way that they did.
Curious to know how many times they had to do that.
I'm sure. I mean, Tom Savini was there. They were in good hands. I know that he didn't like the arm in the beginning. He was unhappy because he had like a day to do it or something like that, or 2 days to like pop it up, like get it done. But it was good.
Savini is like, he's just such a magical man. And I watched someone talk about banned movies, and this is not like a unprovoked tangent, but just talking about Savini. there's
always talk about Savini. It's fine. Add that to the list.
Oh God, it wasn't Killer Nuns. I forgot the title. I'll have to send it to you. But he did the special effects for it, and it's supposed to be like super nasty, gruesome because it got banned. But then he was pissed that he didn't get credited because he wanted to do it like no one knew that he was doing it. And then when they didn't give him credit, he wanted to sue them. I just think that's like the most fucking weird like situation. Like, you're Tom Savini, why wouldn't you want to be credited? And then like
maybe he wanted it to be a surprise. Like after it came out, like now you could say like like maybe that was his way of like having like a pseudonym, like a pen name.
It could be, and it was older too. It was like in the 70s, so maybe it was just like starting out type deal. I need to look more into it because I heard it today, but I was just like, I want to see the movie because it's banned and it sounded pretty badass, and I want to know more of.
Yeah,
Savini didn't want that.
I've been thinking about doing like a banned movie thing. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we'll do something.
Yes, I'm on that kick too. Like, everyone's on that extreme kick now that you have to watch all these like.
Yeah, whatever.
I know.
Listen to like Chuck, your movie guy, and like he'll post the comments that he gets, and it's always like, "Well, that movie sucks compared to the Serbian film." And I was like, "Fuck that movie."
Everyone brings that up. Everyone thinks that they're like.
That doesn't tell me that you watch movies. That tells me you watch a movie. You know what I mean? Like I don't care.
To me, you talking about it is act like you want the lore of the movie. You don't even you're just saying it to have some sort of status. And to me, I'm not being mean
I am.
to anyone. I'm not being mean to anyone that I personally like that likes that movie, but like if you know the premise of a Serbian film and you watch it more than once and you enjoy it, that's weird to me.
That is
That's
weird.
just weird to me.
Anyone who has been personally victimized by the Serbian film, we apologize. And see
I've
us
never
after the
seen it.
show.
I will not watch it. Did you watch it?
No, someone gave me the whole plot rundown of it in like high school, and I'm like, I don't need to watch that. It didn't seem like I'm not a fan of like over the top for the sake of over the top to be brutal to be brutal. Um, it's just not impressive to me.
Right.
Cinematography is impressive to me. Special effects are impressive to me. Gore for the sake of gore is not impressive to me. Now, gore on top of like gore being the main focus is not my favorite, or just brutality. But if you add that on, if it's a sprinkle on top, the cherry on top, like, that is different. I feel like if that
Right.
makes
It's an
sense.
added bonus.
Yeah, like I don't think
It's an
being a
ass-
theme, I don't think that's enough to enjoy something. I'm not a
I'm with you.
sadist.
I'm not either, and I yes, I'm with you, but just the fact that like in this fictional story that babies are hurt,
I'm not watching that.
I'm not watching it because that shit happened. Like that's just real life horror that I don't want to mingle with my escapism in entertainment to think about
Yeah,
babies being.
yeah, I have babies. I don't need that.
Yes, thank you. Anyway,
Anyway, again, that was The Burning. I gave it 5 stars. Concept, characters, storytelling, production value. I didn't give it one for theme, but I gave it one extra because I liked it. What did you think?
so I give a star for each category, correct?
Yes.
So I'm pretty sure that we're the same because you're right. There's no theme. Like it's a
Hmm.
classic tale of you do something that you're not supposed to do, karma comes back and bites you, or there's like a legend or something. So it's been done before. Nothing really new to it, but I enjoyed it more than
Yeah. And sometimes
more than
you don't need that. And when I do these rank ratings, it's not whether I love the movie or not. That'll come at the end. It'll be a star or not. And it's just more subjective kind of way of looking at it. And it might mean that I give more movies higher reviews. Might sound like a higher review, getting a 4 or 5 all the time, or a 3 out of time. But I just think that these things matter a lot, and without them,
yeah.
I feel like you got to have at least 3 of them. For it's like a rewatchability scale is how I look at it, how I call it. If it has all these
With it.
things, then you can watch it a lot. And
Hmm.
if you only have a few of them, I might watch it again. But there's certain elements that might weigh higher to you
Yep.
than other things.
It's true. I mean, it's to me, this is like a fun movie to watch, prepping to get into summer or
Hmm.
in the summertime. I wouldn't put it on like in the middle of winter because I'm a very like seasonal
Hmm. Absolutely.
horror person, or just like a creature of my own device, and I just watch the Scream franchise, Halloween's, and Terrifier over and over again. So that's it.
Yes. Terrifier 3 coming out this Christmas.
I'm so excited.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm excited
Listen,
too. Um, I want to see how many more of these movies he's got in him before he has to move on. He's out of ideas, but he seems like he's got some stuff.
I want more of just original ideas from him. Like
Yeah.
you, everyone that's listening, and you know just as well as I do that I'm a humongous Terrifier fan,
Hmm.
and I love seeing art on the big screen. But I want more from him. Other concepts. I want him to do
Yes.
a creature feature. I want him to do
Oh yeah. I think
something
he's
with like a
got
real life serial killer.
enough ideas brewing in him from just his inspirations. So like, I
Yes.
don't think he's gonna get to remake whatever, but he's got ideas that are in the same realm. So when he gives us a new idea in the same realm of these inspirations, that will be fun to us.
Yes. You
Like
know
the
what
feeling
I
doesn't need
want
to be
him?
original, just the plot, just the
Yes, to see if you
concept.
can do something outside of your wheelhouse. Now,
But Terrifier 3 on the big screen, I think that will be a treat though. That will be that will be great. Be something
and
exciting to see in the theater. It's been a long time since I've been excited to see something.
I know. Like, did you see Terrifier 2 on the big screen?
Nope. I watched it I don't know, right here on the
Mm.
TV here in the basement, and then I bought it the same day.
Oh my
That's my
God.
Terrifier experience.
I
Not the
and I'm
first one,
not
but the
doing
second
this.
one.
to like rub any salt in your like any to like make you feel bad, but just watching that on the big screen was one of my favorite like experiences ever. It was just so amazing to see on the big screen.
I can imagine. Like I said, I liked it a lot, and I thought that there was just been something missing in cinema for a long time.
Yes.
And yeah, he's a little bit raunchy at times or whatever, like not fine tuned it sometimes, but he still captured some stuff that we don't get to see anymore because Hollywood's just churning and burning. And he gave us something a little different, which I know all indie filmmakers do, blah blah blah. But I like the way he did it, and I think there's a charm there that he brought that I really appreciated.
He like revived my love for horror because I was in I was like I was hurt and my horror heart was just like what is gonna like spark it again, and then that came along. And
Absolutely.
but I want to see him do. Have you ever seen Intruder?
Nope.
Okay, so at one point I want you to watch Intruder. I'm not trying to boss you around or tell you what to do, but I think that you would dig Intruder.
Okay.
It's another 80s slasher that's so
Intruder.
underrated and such a like Sam Raimi is in it and Bruce Campbell's in it. It's just so goddamn good. I think Damien Leone could remake that movie and
Interesting.
do it so well. And I want to hear your thoughts after you watch it about that comment because I brought it up to some people and they're like, holy shit, that would be.
Making a note here. You might have to message me too.
I'm sure I will.
Yeah. Okay. Again, we're gonna do another episode where we're just no concept, just open.
Freely. Yes.
Yeah, because it's hitting the 55-minute mark here shortly, 50-minute mark. My kids are gonna come home and my house is a mess, so I'm gonna deal with them. But it was great having you on. Thank you so much, and everyone go check out Jordana and the Pretty Killers podcast. I mean, if you listen to me, you know all about Jordana, but if you haven't yet, go listen to her episodes on. I like all of them, honestly, but there's one with me on there. Listen to that one.
Yes, listen to that one right now.
Listen to it right now. If you're not done listening to us talk already.
Yes.
And also Core 4, if you're not familiar with her, it is her. You tell us about the Core 4 before you go.
Core 4 is myself, Mark Loves Horror, Macabre Maddie, and Podcast Killing Time, Aubrey, us four knuckleheads just talking in horror, and it's so much fun. I love hanging with those guys. And then I have Future Creatures DTF with Sam, which is just like a more pop culture-y type bag of everything type deal. And yeah.
I can't tell if that's my kids or your kids.
I know, right?
Yeah. I love Core 4. I like to listen to you guys. I'm at the gym sometimes. It is nice to have all those perspectives come together. It's not like one show, it's like 4 shows. So
it is. And Mark and Matt fighting all the time is so
it's good.
Much fun because Aubrey and I just sit back and we just smile. We're just like, okay, you guys do your thing.
And you have interesting concepts, like, who you would meet and what you would do for filmmakers. And you go through all types of cool concepts. And it's really interesting to hear some of the thoughts behind it. So go check out Core 4, everybody. I think you have a 420 episode out. Is that?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's so ridiculous, and I wish everyone. I want to do not a Patreon. I just want to do like a special episode and show the whole video because it was out of control. It was so much fun.
All right, everybody. Again, thank you, Jordana, for coming out with us, and
thank you for having me.
That is it. We will see you all later, folks. Have a good night.